On March 19, 2026, the 844-foot amphibious assault ship USS Boxer slipped out of San Diego Bay just before dawn. Ship spotters captured the moment on webcam. No press conference, no official statement. Just a massive warship loaded with 2,500 Marines heading west into the Pacific, 3 weeks ahead of schedule. Alongside Boxer, 2 more warships departed: the amphibious transport dock USS Portland and the dock landing ship USS Comstock. Together, they form the Boxer Amphibious Ready Group, carrying the 11th Marine Expeditionary Unit from Camp Pendleton, California. When asked about the deployment, the Navy called it routine operations. But Boxer is not heading to the Pacific. It is heading to the Persian Gulf. The war between the United States, Israel, and Iran is now entering its 4th week. American and Israeli forces have struck over 7,000 targets. They have killed senior Iranian officials, destroyed air defense networks, and targeted nuclear infrastructure. The campaign was fast and overwhelming. But Iran did something Washington did not expect. Instead of collapsing, Iran activated a strategy it had been preparing for decades. It shut down the Strait of Hormuz. Through that gap flows roughly 20% of the world's daily oil supply. Before the war, 125 vessels transited every day. Today, that number has collapsed to 5. Over 1,100 ships sit stranded. The IRGC Navy deployed a layered denial system. Shore-based anti-ship missiles positioned along the Iranian coastline. Fast attack boats, naval mines, and drone systems operating from both the mainland and Iranian-controlled islands. The result has been devastating for the global economy. Oil prices have surged 45% since the war began. Crude jumped to $100. American drivers are paying $3.79 per gallon at the pump, a 25% increase in 3 weeks. The Treasury Department estimates the disruption has already cost the United States $11 billion, and the bombing has not solved the problem. Over 100 vessels destroyed, but shore-based missiles remain. Mines remain in the water. Fast attack boats are nearly impossible to eliminate. That is why the Marines are coming. The 11th MEU aboard USS Boxer is not a symbolic deployment. It is a combat force for literal warfare. The Boxer itself is classified as a Wasp-class amphibious assault ship. In practice, it functions as a small aircraft carrier. Its flight deck operates F-35B stealth fighters and MV-22B Osprey tiltrotor aircraft that deliver Marines deep inland. AH-1Z Viper attack helicopters provide close air support. MH-60 Seahawk helicopters handle reconnaissance and logistics. The well deck of USS Comstock holds landing craft air cushion hovercraft that deposit tanks directly onto a beach at 40 knots. The Marines deploy with amphibious combat vehicles that swim from ship to shore, bridging the gap between naval power and ground control. The 11th MEU is built around Battalion Landing Team 3-5. They are supported by an aviation and logistics combat element. They are self-sustaining. They carry their own fuel, ammunition, and medical facilities. They can begin operations immediately, and they are not alone. 1 week before, the USS Tripoli left Okinawa with the 31st MEU, another 2,200 Marines aboard 3 warships. The U.S. will have approximately 5,000 Marines aboard 6 amphibious warships, the largest concentration since the 2003 invasion of Iraq. They joined 50,000 American service members, including the USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group in the Arabian Sea. The USS Gerald R. Ford was sent to Crete for repairs. A third carrier group, led by USS George H.W. Bush, is moving toward the Mediterranean. The question now dominating every intelligence briefing is simple: what are the Marines going to do? Analysts identify 3 possible missions. The first is the seizure of Karg Island. It is the hub of Iran's oil export infrastructure. Roughly 90% of Iranian crude flows through Karg. Seizing it would cripple Iran's war economy and give the United States a massive bargaining chip for any future ceasefire negotiation. President Trump, when asked about Karg Island, described reopening the strait as a simple military maneuver. He did not deny the possibility. The second mission involves securing Iranian islands within the Strait of Hormuz. Keshem, Hormuz, and Larak serve as staging points. Neutralizing these islands would open a corridor for commercial shipping. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said escorts could begin soon, but land-based anti-ship missiles would need to be eliminated first. That is a ground mission. 11th MEU is ideally suited for this. The third scenario is a limited coastal operation along Iran's southern shore, targeting missile installations and mine-laying facilities. This would be a series of precision raids designed to create a safe corridor. The 11th MEU is ideally suited for this. CENTCOM specifically requested the Marines because part of the plan was to have Marines available to provide options for use. Iran is watching all of this, and Iran is preparing. The IRGC has pre-positioned its forces along the entire southern coastline. Anti-ship missile batteries are dispersed and camouflaged. Fast attack boats operate from dozens of hidden coves. Naval mines have been laid in patterns designed to channel shipping into kill zones. Underground facilities continue to produce munitions. Deep into the Zagros Mountains, Iran produces munitions faster than American bombs can destroy them. The Strait of Hormuz is open to everyone except the US and its allies. Ships bound for China and India continue to transit. The terrain favors the defender. Iran controls the northern shore. Any vessel entering the strait is within range of shore-based missiles. Shallow waters are difficult for large warships, giving small Iranian boats a significant advantage. The islands provide firing positions. 13 American service members have already died, 6 in a tanker crash. Approximately 200 have been wounded. This represents a war supposed to be over in days. The American public is growing uneasy. 65% believe Trump will order a ground war. Only 7% support that idea. 52% of Americans believe Trump was motivated to attack Iran to distract from domestic political issues. Trump has sent contradictory signals. "No, I am not putting troops anywhere," he said. Hours later, the boxer left San Diego. 2 San Diego littoral combat ships, Tulsa and Santa Barbara, have been spotted in Singapore, headed for mine-sweeping duty. History offers parallels. On March 8, 1965, 3rd SM-500 Marines waded ashore at Da Nang. No one spoke of a 10-year war. 58,000 dead. That initial deployment of Marines was the door that opened everything that followed. 58,000 American dead. That was the door. The Boxer and its 2,500 Marines are now sailing through the Pacific. Behind them, families wait. Ahead, the most heavily contested waterway on Earth. The Strait of Hormuz remains closed. Iran remains defiant. 5,000 Marines are being positioned to do what 3 weeks of bombing could not. The question is no longer whether the Marines will be used. The question is how, and whether it stays limited. Because in the Middle East, nothing ever does. With 5,000 Marines converging, do you think this ends with the Strait reopened? Or does this become America's next forever war? Drop your answer. If this video helped you understand, subscribe and hit the bell, because the next 48 hours could change everything. Thank you for watching.